What is up, guys? Call sign Spade here, and today I'm bringing you a review of the Cyma Cm.126 M9 AEP. I've done a review on this before, but the review is pretty low quality with my camera and microphone, so I'm bringing you an updated version. You will not be able to find the old review of this anymore, so this is the new one. So surprisingly, there aren't many reviews of this in English, considering that this is the only AEP outside of the Desert Eagle that you can get within the United States. The Glock 18C is simply just not available in America unless if you buy it off of Replay Airsoft for $20 extra, which holds, the same gearbox and everything as the Desert Eagle and the M9, so you're better off just purchasing the M9. The Desert Eagle you can get if you want, but that is pretty bulky. Most people roll with the M9. So Cyma has made quite a delicacy here with an AEP. It is certainly a high quality AEP. Definitely happy with it. Out of all the times I have used it, I haven't had a single problem with it. So let's just get right into this review. Alright, so some really good features about the M9 AEP here. When you first handle it, it's pretty lightweight. It probably weighs in at around maybe 3 or less pounds. And when you feel it, most of the construction on the outside is plastic, but it feels very sturdy. I mean, you can squeeze it as hard as you can, it just will not break. But there are some metal construction here. Obviously, the entire upper slide here is made out of, I believe, aluminum. Don't get me on that, but it's definitely some sort of metal. So if you whack this against something on the top here, it will not break. The hammer is made out of metal. The fire selector from safe to full auto is full metal. The slide release is made out of metal, and the trigger is made out of metal, but the grip and the lower receiver, I believe is what it's called, is made out of polymer. Oh, I should also note that the magazine release is made out of metal as well. So some really cool features about this gun. It obviously fires in full auto and semi-auto. And here's a selector switch for that. So when you see 2 dots, sorry, you can't see that very well, but 2 dots means it is in semi-auto. And if you pull it down, 1 dot, that means it's in full auto. And it's a bit weird how that works, but because normally you'd see 1 dot and you would assume it's semi-auto, but in this case it is the opposite way. The hammer, which is again made out of metal, it's just for decoration, but it does actually pull back. So that's a nice little feature that Cyma added to this gun. If you're curious about the actual safety, with all of Cyma's AEP models, they have this safety switch right here on the side of their guns. Left is to the safe, switch that to the right, and now it is in fire mode. So the slide comes off for a few reasons: for disassembly, putting in your battery, and to adjust your hop-up. So to access all of these things, first thing you would do is push down on the slide release, and then you push forward on the slide just a hair so that it comes forward just a bit. Lift up, and then take it off. Here is where your battery compartment and hop-up is stored. So your hop-up is this little knob right here. It's actually quite a nice hop-up system. Despite this being really small and compact, really nice hop-up. I have absolutely no complaints about it. It doesn't move around on its own, and it's quite easy to adjust. The battery compartment is on this side, and to insert the battery, you have your battery right here. There's a little white arrow that points into the direction the battery should go. So you get some really small rails here. You can't see it in this shot very well, but you would slide it into here, and it clicks in place. Now your gun is able to be fired. And to release the battery, you have this little wing here that you pull on with quite a bit. It takes a bit more muscle than you would think, but once you actually push the battery out, it actually shoots out the battery. So here's a demonstration of that. Shot the battery out, And that's how you take out the battery. Something you may want to note is that this little wing here that you use to take out the battery is made out of plastic, and it doesn't feel very durable. So you might get a few uses out of this before it decides to break. I haven't had it break on me yet, but just keep that noted when buying this, is that this little wing here to take out the battery might break. Now, there are obviously other ways to take out the battery if you have tools. You could probably use a screwdriver to wedge it out or something, but I wouldn't really recommend that. The wing seems to do the job, but unfortunately there's no replacement parts for this. So once you break this, it is broken. And to put the slide back on is also just as easy as taking it off. You just put this on. It's a little finicky. And then you push back on it so it aligns, and then you push up on the slide release. Something else you might want to note when buying this is that if you plan to holster this, it is actually quite easy for the slide release here to actually be pushed down while in the holster, which means if this is slid down, you go out to draw your gun, your slide just might fly off. Luckily, the gun still operates without the slide on it, but if you're trying to get a pinpoint shot, you're not going to have any iron sights to do that. So just keep that noted when buying this. In case if you guys were curious, this is what the sight picture looks like. Standard pistol sights. And the release of the magazine is the 1911 style. You push down on the magazine release button here, and the magazine slides out. This is a full construction metal magazine. I believe even the little part here at the end of the spring that pushes up the BBs is also made out of metal. So you can drop these mags, you can throw them against walls, and they'll probably still be fine. The way the magazine feeds is you get these two little nubs next to on the top. When these push down, that enables the BBs to fly through. So these magazines hold up to 25 rounds. If you really cram it, you can push in 30, but not recommended. And it's also important to note that these are double stacked magazines. Despite them being very small, these actually double stack. Alright, so when you first get your M9 AEP in the mail, it'll come with this instruction manual. Opening up the manual reviews... So when you first get your M9 AEP in the mail, you will get an instruction manual here with some poorly translated English, but it does give you a basic overview on how the gun works, as if it's not simple enough. It shows you how the hop-up is used, and I'm not sure what the original language for this is, but there is some English translation in here. If you look at the back here, there is a full takedown guide of your M9, so you might want to keep this instruction manual rather than throwing it away, just in case if something happens. Your M9 will also come with its own charger. This is not a smart charger. It is a 7.2 volt charger that charges at 200 milliamps. It also comes with its own battery, a 500 milliamp 7.2 battery, an adapter for the battery. I'll show you how you put this together here in just a second, and a speed loader. This also did come with some metal BBs that about 100 of them, I would say. I don't have those with me now because I used them already, but they were really high quality BBs that came with this gun. They were metal, seamless, I think about 0.2 grams. It might even weigh more than that, don't get me on it. So to charge your battery, obviously you'd want to plug this into an outlet, but you have the charger end here, and in here you have a female port, but all you have to do is just connect it to the male port. And then the white arrow here points in the direction that the battery goes down into the port, similar to putting it into the gun. And it snaps right in place, and now you will charge your battery like this. So just some more info about this gun. It shoots at around 800 rounds per minute, which is kind of slow, but you also have to consider that this is a handgun. It doesn't need to shoot super fast, and the battery only puts out 500 milliamps. And with 0.2 gram BBs, this shoots at about 200 feet per second. However, if you were to decide to put in 0.12s, it would shoot much harder and you would already have a great range. The range for this is actually about 80 feet, believe it or not, and that's the effective range. Beyond 80 feet, the BB starts to travel slower, it starts to drop, but you can get 80 feet of kick-ass with this gun. Despite this being an AEP, battery powered and whatnot, it actually has some really good range. The feet per second is pretty nice for, a secondary weapon. My personal opinion about this gun, it does have some of its flaws. None of them seem to be too major. The first flaw being with the wing for releasing the battery. Second flaw being the battery adapter here. Seems, it's made out of plastic. It seems a little fragile, but careful handling will definitely ensure that thing survives. And I can't remember what the last thing about the gun I didn't like, but overall I really, really like this. For $80, this is really wonderful. It definitely is a high quality gun. I'm not sure if EVIC has this deal going on, but when you buy this, but I know when I bought this gun, they gave me about a $10 extra shopping spree thing. And so with that money, it might have already came with a magazine, but you can actually get another magazine with that money they give you, which is really nice. So now I got 2 magazines. I got this magazine for absolutely free. I would like to thank EVIC for giving me that deal, because that is very, very nice. So if you want to pick up your own M9 AEP, a link to the product will be provided in the description below. If you have any sort of questions about the gun, feel free to comment below. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, have a nice day.